Me as a mom, I was broken. Feel sorry for my daughter.
We continue to follow breaking news at 6. The family of a teenager killed in an officer-involved shooting last summer reaches a multi-million-dollar settlement with the city.
Alaska ties to a fatal plane crash in San Diego. We learned about what happened and one of the people who died.
A moose attack at Anchorage's Kincaid Park left one woman injured. Her dog didn't survive. We hear about those moments before the attack and how the dog saved her life.
A major project on the Glen Highway is going better than expected. I'm Lauren Maxwell. I'll tell you when the Kinnick River bridges will be open.
And the Memorial Day weekend approaches and warming temperatures are expected. I'll have a look at that forecast.
You're watching Alaska's news source.
That's her and her nephews.
This is her?
Yeah.
A family ripped apart and forever changed by a deadly officer-involved shooting reaches a settlement with the city of Anchorage.
More than $2 million to be exact, although the money cannot replace the 16-year-old that was killed nearly a year ago.
Lauren Maxwell is here. Lauren, explain the settlement and how everything got to this point.
Well, today's $2.11 million settlement to the Leafa family's civil claims comes after the State Office of Special Prosecution said police officer Alexander Roman was legally justified in using deadly force against the 16-year-old. The family are actually the ones who called police to their East Side apartment last summer, saying that Easter was threatening her sister with a knife. Police body camera footage shows police entering the apartment with guns, asking Leafa, who was sitting on a balcony, to drop the knife. When she instead came towards them, one officer fired a less lethal weapon, but the other one fired his gun. At the time, family members said they were upset that officers did not let them speak with Leafa to try and calm the situation before she was shot. And she'd recently moved to the state from American Samoa, and there may have been a language barrier. Today, the family's attorney released a statement saying they have been working with police and the mayor since the shooting to try and make sure that something similar doesn't happen again. And that statement reads in part, "We are confident the police did not know her age, that she was upset at the time, or that she was not strong with the English language." Within mere days of this tragic event, we met with Mayor LaFrance and Chief Case, who with courage faced our family with kindness and compassion. Now, a release from the mayor's office says the settlement relieves the city from all claims regarding the shooting. And in it, the mayor says she's hiring an independent contractor to review APD's policies on using deadly force. And we do expect to have an interview with Mayor LaFrance very soon.
Thank you, Lauren. An aircraft that crashed in a San Diego neighborhood early this morning has ties to Alaska.
As does at least one person who was killed in that crash. Beth Verge joins us now for an update. Beth?
Well, Rebecca, John, these are aerials of the scene earlier today. We're going to take a closer look. That's a warning, with help from fellow NBC affiliate KNSD in a second. But this plane went down in San Diego a bit before 4 o'clock this morning. And we now know that the plane and one of the people who's killed have ties to Alaska. The aircraft owner is Dave Shapiro, and his LLC, Dave Names, under which the plane is registered, is out of Canada. Different business though. The music agency Sound Talent Group, based in San Diego, telling the Associated Press that Shapiro and 2 others died in the crash today. It remains unclear who all was on the plane, or whether or not Shapiro was piloting, as he was licensed to do that. But we do know there were 10 people total who were on board at the time of the crash. And as of just a bit ago, the National Transportation Safety Board was still looking for a key item in the wreckage.
So this airplane likely has a flight data recorder and possibly a cockpit voice recorder as well. You haven't recovered that? We haven't recovered those, no.
Thank you. San Diego first responders say dozens of cars and homes were damaged. Some 100 people in that neighborhood were displaced, and many suffered minor injuries. As of last check, the identities of the other victims had not yet been publicly released. Rebecca, John.
Well, a case of measles is confirmed in Anchorage. The Alaska Department of Health says an unvaccinated child developed a rash May 14th. The department says a child tested positive for the virus yesterday. The child spent time at O'Malley Sports Center and Fly Trampoline Park, as well as the Southside Target and the YMCA. This is the second case of measles reported in Alaska this year. And we could see the clouds starting to clear by tomorrow midday.
Meteorologist Jackie Purcell that says that means warming temperatures. She joins us now with the forecast. Jackie.
Yeah, a little bit of sunshine can go a long way. So that's what we're counting on here in the next couple of days. Bigger breaks in these clouds, and that sunshine's going to do a pretty good job. You can see that the shower activity has decreased significantly across the south central region, but no, we're still going to say there is a chance of showers. It's a slight chance between the Anchorage area into the valleys. This is what it looks like out there over the last several hours. So, hey, keep moving, clouds. Move on out. So we want to see some nice sunshine going into this holiday weekend, and even through the weekend. That would be great as well. Currently, Anchorage is at 53 degrees. Winds are out of the south at 10 miles per hour. You can see where all the wet weather is over southwest Alaska. Shower activity still ongoing into interior Alaska. 64 for Fairbanks this past hour, and they are seeing calm conditions. Now, here is the weekend forecast. Through the afternoons and into the evenings, that's when that shower activity, even convective showers, thunderstorms, could be firing up. There's Friday night. That's what we're looking at. And even into Saturday night, it still could be the case, but that's a function in a part because of the sunshine through the daytime hours. So that's a little bit of a trade-off. Going into the Memorial Day weekend, I think your conditions are going to be pretty nice. High temperatures very close to 60 degrees or at 60 degrees over the next 3 days. Friday, a high up to 58. But with that sunshine, I think parts of town, if not the airport location, will certainly hit that 60-degree mark. So we're looking forward to some 60s to report across the metro area as we go through the weekend. And of course, it is the Memorial Day weekend, so make sure that you honor those who have served our country.
Thank you, Jackie. Well, after a moose attack last week in Kincaid Park, an Anchorage woman is still recovering from her injuries.
Georgina Fernandez spoke with her after what the woman says was a walk that she has done often with her 15-year-old dog.
Walking here in Kincaid Park, it's a normal thing many people do.
That was the trail I walked all the time back there.
Daisy! Just like Barb Ashton and her 15-year-old dog, Daisy.
Come on, let's go.
Daisy, who loved going on walks.
Good girl.
She would walk up to a person when we were out walking and lean on them.
And always had the ability to find mud.
Water and mud. Those were her favorite things.
Daisy and Barb, there for the good days and the hard moments. From Daisy's cancer to her mobility struggles, still finding themselves on trails walking like they were last Friday with Barb's sister, paying attention like they always did, looking for moose. Now, Ashton says the three of them were walking near a trail by hole 8 when that normal walk turned into the worst day of her life in seconds.
And my sister said, moose. And it immediately flattened its ears, and the tackles went up, and she said, run.
Ashton says the three of them attempted to run away, and that's when she says the moose attacked Daisy.
She didn't even know the moose was behind her, and she was also deaf. And I started screaming.
And before she could run,
It's been the worst day of my life. I was trampled by a moose.
That's when Ashton says Daisy stepped in.
But she was able to get up after the first kicking, the first trumping. She was able to get up 2 more times to draw the moose away from me.
Each time, Ashton tells us, Daisy got up and the moose kept going after her.
Her injuries were too severe. Her leg was shattered, and they'd have to amputate. For a 15-year-old dog to take, that would be too much. And of course, there were internal injuries.
And just like Daisy, who never left Barb's side,
for a while, they were shot, and off she went.
She stayed there, beside her.
She saved my life. There's no doubt. She saved my life.
Together, through the good times and bad.
She's my guardian angel.
Ashton tells us right now she's not planning to come back here and walk these trails again. Georgina Fernandez, Alaska's news source.
New at 6, an Alaska attorney the feds say was part of a cartel pleaded not guilty in federal court today to drug trafficking and firearms charges. 44-year-old Justin Facey appeared very somber in an Anchorage federal courtroom this morning in connection to a case where prosecutors previously charged more than 50 people connected to what they've called an expansive Alaska drug trafficking ring. Prosecutors say that between April of 2024 and April of this year, Facey used his Anchorage home to distribute and use controlled substances, namely fentanyl and methamphetamine, and also says he illegally had multiple guns. Prosecutors say Facey worked with a California prisoner who ran the drug ring by texting from prison. Prosecutors also say that when law enforcement interviewed Facey's former clients, they said he coerced sex to pay for his legal representation. And back in February, the Alaska Bar suspended Facey following numerous complaints. A trial scheduling conference is scheduled for July 18th. Facey will remain detained until May 29th. We have expanded our coverage, including what prosecutors say Facey wrote in text messages on our website and, of course, our mobile app.
Well, 2 F-16 jets assigned to the 8th Fighter Wing remain on St. Paul Island tonight. The city manager says one of them experienced an engine problem on Monday while on the way to exercises at Eielson Air Force Base. They both had to make an emergency landing. The planes are expected to take off Saturday morning. And still ahead, making sure you are safe during Memorial Day weekend.
We are live chatting with a safety professional about ways to have fun and also be mindful.
You're watching Alaska's news source.
Well, Memorial Day weekend is almost here, and while it's a day to remember those who lost their lives serving our country, many people use it as a time to relax with family and friends.
And that could mean getting out on the water. And of course, while it can be fun, it can also be dangerous if you are not careful. Joining us now to talk safety is Kelly Toth with Underway USA. Kelly, why this month in particular to talk about water safety?
Well, thanks for having me. You know, May is National Safe Boating Month, and it's Water Safety Month. And this is the time when, particularly this coming weekend, a lot of people are going to find themselves out on the water. We just want to raise awareness of the importance of wearing a life jacket and tips in which to be able to survive in case you do fall into Alaska's cold water.
And Kelly, what are some of the most important steps that people should take, I guess, before and during their time out on the water?
You know, thanks for asking, because I think we're supposed to have really great warm weather this weekend, and it's really important, particularly on those sunny days when it's flat and calm. A lot of people are out on the water. It's really warm, but you still want to make sure that you're wearing your life jacket. 5 out of 6 boating fatalities are a result of a vessel capsize, swamping, a fall overboard without wearing a life jacket, mainly men. So we just want to put the word out there that a life jacket is really your best defense against cold water.
And you talk about those cold waters. It's colder in particular in Alaska than other states when people are out boating. How much does that cold play into people's being able to survive being in the water?
Well, you know, people they think, you know, I'm a really strong swimmer, or I've been boating wherever I boat all my life, and so I don't need to wear a life jacket because I'm experienced and I have strong skills. But unfortunately, that cold water causes the first stage of cold water immersion is that cold shock response where you gasp and you hyperventilate. And so it can also be disorienting and cause fatigue. So the first thing you want to do is lay flat and just float first and wait to regain that breath control. Really hard to do without wearing a life jacket.
Some great tips. Anything else you want to kind of drive home as we head into the holiday weekend?
Absolutely. So the Coast Guard Auxiliary often will offer free vessel safety checks, which is really helpful to make sure that you have all of the safety equipment that you need to have on board if you're on a boat. Remember, if you're on a stand-up paddleboard or kayaking or canoe, that's also considered a vessel. You have to have a life jacket, particularly even children under the ages of 13, but you just want to have it. You never know when something's going to happen. I know it sounds cliche. People say I never saw it coming, but it really is true. It's an unexpected event. Carry an emergency communication and signaling device wherever it is that you go. And then also make sure that you know something about this training. Make sure that the first time that this thing goes off, it's not when you don't know what's going to happen. So like if I pull the cord right now, nothing's going to happen because I didn't make sure that it was maintained. This has already been used before, so you want to open this up and make sure that you get a new cartridge in here, inspect it, attach a whistle to your life jacket, and just get in the water in a protected area and train and practice. You can go, I know there are great places out there, resources for information, like the Alaska Office of Boating Safety has a lot of great information. The Coast Guard Auxiliary, the U.S. Coast Guard, lots of great information online. Get in the water and practice.
Thank you so much, Kelly. Be safe out there, everybody. We'll be right back.
Thanks for listening. Click subscribe so you can get the latest podcast from Alaska's news source automatically. And stay up to date with breaking news and in-depth reporting available for free 24/7 with the Alaska's news source app.